Wight Lightning.
Welcome to Wight Lightning Podcast. This is the Wight Lightning manufacturing crew. My name is Dalton. Got Isaiah, Arnaldo, Fazal. So this is 4 engineers that met up at work, and we're trying to put our engineering prowesses together. Beginnings of Wight Lightning was me kind of a couple years ago getting frustrated at my last job and always knowing I wanted to make something and have my own kind of business and do stuff like that, but I didn't have a bunch of experience or anything like that at the time, so it was just slowly 3D printing and designing stuff and going about my ways. But now that that was when I was in Maryland. So that was a few years ago. Maryland. I can't say it like a true Baltimore native. They've got their own accent.
Yeah.
So, but that was up there, and I kind of got frustrated with that job at some point, which is okay, but it was still good experiences. So my wife and I made our way down here.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And then I think
To the land of Disney.
I
You
kind
brought it
of
up
connected
to
with
me.
you first, yeah. And was kind of this is what I like to do. I'm working on this car project thing, which I don't even think I've talked to you, like Isaiah, was all about, but my little car project.
the main thing.
The main thing that was like the start of what I wanted Wight Lightning to be, which was like little thing called Deck of Cards. I can explain it. I can explain it. You've seen the stuff in the drive.
I have seen it, but I remember, you haven't discussed about it at all.
I haven't gone into great detail
Yeah.
with that, but that's been like my 3-year project of like, I think it'll be a great solution in an automotive sense for like grassroots motorsport stuff. So that's that. But I was talking to Arnaldo about it and some other things like that, and we got close sitting next to each other in our cubicles. So
Yeah, because basically I was like, I fucking hate working with, like, having a boss.
basically,
Like, it sucks having to go somewhere else and do someone else's work and have them get paid the big bucks, and then you're just kind of replaceable and kind of feeling like a pawn all the time.
yeah.
And for me, I mean, you can't really see it on camera, but these guys can see it. I have instruments everywhere, and my thing was I wanted to get a CNC to make my own guitars and just
That's
make
right.
my own instruments.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Pretty
Okay.
fucking dope.
So, like,
cool.
we connected via that. I was like, I want to.
Yeah, because I've got my little desktop CNC at home,
Yeah,
which
just
is
the
just
side project stuff.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then those hopefully eventually turn into something.
Yeah,
So that
and
was the
then-
original vision.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Making a guitar. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah. That was my.
Yeah, so we started talking about more and stuff like that, and then it got.
And this was during y'all training too, right?
This was like the
Yeah.
first
Oh,
month of us being like moved over.
Yeah.
Because we didn't. Yeah, this was after like
To
the
the
6-month
cool kids.
initiation of
okay.
of work.
Yeah.
And so once it was there, then we could talk a little more loosely about like other stuff that's going on
Yeah.
instead of being like, hey, training buddy.
Yeah, right.
it was less of like, all right, you're team lead. What's up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Huh. That's cool.
Yeah.
But you didn't introduce yourself.
Yeah. Right.
Arnaldo.
So, my name is Arnaldo. Just mechanical engineer. Another one of the peons.
Pretty boring. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
Right. My interest.
just another mechie.
Yeah, exactly. My interests have always been just like music, and now as of late, it's just been 3D printing. I have 3D printed shit pretty much everywhere in this room.
Yeah, because additive manufacturing is pretty dope.
Additive is the future. I am a firm believer.
Amen.
I am not. I am in the ways of the old of CNCs.
Hard G coding.
Yeah.
Well, I think
you
it's
got to
a-
program your own
Yeah.
stuff. I'm just kidding. I'm not.
It's a tool, right? It's not here to replace anything. It's
make everything
It's not
another-
AI.
Yeah, I mean,
yet.
even AI is a tool. It's
Yeah.
not here to.
It's not even real
replace
AI,
anything,
too.
So, I think.
Yeah.
Because when you think of, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
either.
you're fine.
I
Wait
fucking
your
hate-
turn.
I hate
Go
when I do that too.
Yeah, you're really good at it. This is why I wanted to get you on a rain too.
Yeah.
So you'd just be like firing away, like Isaiah, stop.
Okay, no, continue for Zol.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'm gonna be taking over.
Wait, hold on. So I'll segue like
Yeah.
this. So we were talking, and then when we moved,
Oh, yeah,
I was
yeah,
sitting
yeah.
right
And this
across
was all
from you.
this was all at
Yeah.
work too.
Correct.
So we
Yeah,
all met
yeah,
at work.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was sitting right across from Fazal, and then we got to talking about just random stuff.
Yeah.
And then you showed us one of your products that you were developing.
Yeah.
And then one day, I was just like,
He showed you, and then you told me.
yeah.
I
was like,
still
dude,
hadn't
this
really
looks
talked to
sick.
Fazal. I was like, look what he's doing.
Osmosis of information
Yeah.
over the cubicle wall.
Exactly.
Just passing stuff
Yeah,
over. It's like, look at
exactly.
this. Look what
Yeah.
I'm doing.
Yeah.
Here's a
And then
little love note.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it was just one day, it was just like, do you guys want to fucking do something together?
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah, so another one of the Meckies, Fazal.
Canadian.
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 Canadian A.
I don't want anybody to forget that.
So, yeah, exactly. I'll bring the niceness to our group.
The
You
politeness.
guys can bring all the Floridian wackiness.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, not
Well,
me.
technically,
us too.
I'm the bland Arizonan person here.
There's only
I just
two
got nothing going on.
dry.
Florida mans.
So
Yeah.
dry.
The dryness.
Yep.
Yeah, you're super dry, bro.
So fucking dry.
Yeah, so as Arnaldo was saying, I overheard, I think Arnaldo talking to someone else, I think probably you,
Probably me.
about 3D printing stuff and things like that and making their own stuff. And then I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I'm into that. I do that kind of stuff. And I got into 3D printing around like COVID time. I had a lot of free time. And it's easy to get into, accessible. You know, it's not like a metal CNC where you have to buy a CNC or even a mill for like a crappy one for like $10,000-$20,000.
Yeah.
So
Super old Bridgeport's still like 10 grand. You're like, it's like I gotta maintain and fix and space and.
And then your
yeah.
tooling is like, I was looking at end mill tools, and it's like just the bit is like $150.
Yeah, you want a good carbide end.
Oh yeah, like
versus
different carbides.
how about a 10 cents brass nozzle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I can keep printing.
Yeah, it's like I'll just buy a $20 1 kilogram spool of plastic, and I'll make some shit out of
Yeah.
it.
They make a lot.
It's a lot simpler with 3D printing. So I'm glad I got into 3D printing. It's a different tool that can be used in manufacturing, and to accompany a different tool, it's also a different design process. So it's like amazing. It's so it's cool that I was able to find you guys, and we have similar interests.
Yeah.
Cars.
Yeah.
Mechanical engineering.
And then like
Anime.
we're all like more
Anime.
mechy guys.
Video
We're all
games.
like more mechy guys, and then
Yeah.
we're like, we need to get like a different kind of engineer in here. So then we just found Isaiah.
Yeah, we just-
Because I'm in the okay. That's not gonna introduce myself.
That's my
'Cause
terrible
you were-
transition.
yeah,
Like, well,
Yeah. So I was gonna say I was gonna rant off about everything I've done at my previous job because I'm Isaiah Alvarez. I'm still actually pursuing my electrical engineering degree.
Yeah.
and you're
and a few others, aerospace, computer science.
there. Yeah,
I have a lot of
triple engineer major.
trades
So
that I'm good
miscellaneous
at.
engineer.
And
Yeah.
and I want to do basically everything myself rather than relying on somebody. Not that that is a bad thing, but it's just better to know so I can at least assist in the process of what my design intention was originally. So like, okay, cool. I want to build something, but it requires multiple fields. It's like, okay, but I want to make sure that we're going towards the correct path that I'm aiming for. So that's why I wanted to pursue all this other stuff. But my previous job, what I did was I was an engineering technician. So I helped all of the engineers at my previous job design and manufacture our extraction equipment, which was for medical marijuana. So for CBD. So we designed special extraction equipment to do that. And I basically learned a lot of my trade skills there, like UL listings, understanding how to do that.
How long were you there for?
I was there for over 5 years. So
I
started-
I didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah, I
You
started
the
there
more you
5
talk
years.
about it and the other things you did, I was like, sounds like he was doing a lot for a while.
Yeah, I was,
I didn't
because
know
I
that.
started there when I was 17, when I was
my
working at Red Lobster as well. So I was working 2 jobs at the time.
Damn.
Because I got paid pretty shit there.
CBD pressure vessels,
Yeah.
serving. Hey, how
Yeah.
you doing?
Serving alcohol.
Because that's also where I met the owner
Actually, you
of
get
the company.
tips.
Was at Red Lobster, so I was serving him, and he brought me along because as I was explaining to him like what I'm going to school for and all that stuff, and
you
that
went
was
from serving him to serving him.
yeah. And so learning all that stuff first because I learned how to weld and all that other stuff. So I have the actual manufacturing process understanding.
Is that the same guy with the auto body?
Yes, he
Jeez,
owned all
that
those
guy
cars and
killing
stuff like
it.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, so
That's
this
so
could be
cool.
like a whole another
Yeah, we can talk
topic
about
too.
other
But that's where my experience came from, was from the biomedical, I guess you could say, industry. So I know how to do high pressure vessels for fluid extraction. So like, I guess you could say oils. So it doesn't have to be just marijuana. It could be anything, because we've had customers purchase it for cherry blossoms, coffee and stuff like that.
Oh,
I thought that
really?
was crazy. It's like
Nice.
oil
Yeah.
extraction.
Yeah,
It's
so-
not just
Yeah.
weed.
Yeah,
it was-
kavas.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because for supercritical CO2 for like breaking the cell walls and all that stuff. I can't remember the whole entire process. I have all my notes somewhere else, but that was the intention of it, was just for medical for CBD. But because CO2 is such a versatile gas, we applied it to other plants. So we were also
Very
doing
cool.
hops at one point. But yeah, that being said, so I was doing all that stuff first, I went to this company where we all met, and then I was hired to help with the electrical design because that's where my specialty is actually electrical, because I did all the control panels and the wirings and stuff like that. And that was also when I was trying to go to school at the same time, so my pathway is kind of long, and I kind of got distracted because I like the other processes of manufacturing.
Yeah.
So that being said, so when I was, the other thing that we brought up when you were right across me from your training
Yep.
time, when I was wanting to use 3D printing to make carbon fiber parts and stuff like that. So
Oh,
that's,
yeah.
Forgot about that.
that's ultimately
that
where
other branch of it.
everything starting to get more discussed.
More.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was because I was like, oh fuck, look at this dude. Like, you can see the
And,
dope ass.
and you had brought back up the 3D printed molds and like the compressed carbon fiber,
Yeah,
like
yep,
the
yep.
shredded stuff.
Yeah.
I had seen that like long time ago, but it
Yeah.
wasn't the strands of it. It
Mm-hmm.
was at same site, but I was looking at other parts of it.
Yeah, because I was looking into how to make like the hooks for like hand drums, and I was researching and I found a diagram and stuff, and it like the guys that make them, they essentially grab nails, cut the head off, and then just beat the shit out of them.
They just
And I
hand
was
form
like,
it.
yeah, and I was like, that's gonna be kind of difficult. So how can I use
not very
I don't know, just engineering to make something? And I stumbled upon like molding stuff out of carbon fiber, and then kind of shared it with you, and I think it just kind of trickled everywhere.
Yeah, well, because also too, y'all never mentioned it anything to me previously, because
Yeah.
y'all were right across from each other, so y'all were
Right,
just talking
right.
Well,
about
you were in refrigeration. We were like,
yeah, and so I was just being,
Yeah.
I was being nosy, and I stick my head up, I see Dalton, and I'm like flicking him off, and so, and then I'm telling him about all this other stuff because I was like, oh, it's fucking interesting. as
Oh
hell.
yeah, you
I
kept
was
fucking with the magnets and shit on the wall. You
Oh,
reach
yeah.
over and you're like grabbing all that shit off the wall.
Well, no, and my phone too, because my flash would go off.
Oh
in
yeah,
between
that's
the
what,
pores.
That's
and,
a notification. It's just lighting up
Yeah.
my back wall. I was like, what do you got going on over there?
Yeah.
Pop
He
going on?
pop up too. He's like, so what's going on? Yeah.
Well, now we know it's all the girlfriends.
Yeah.
Oh, you do know that,
Yeah.
Mr. Popular.
Yeah. So that's, which is true. Yeah. I mean, I was talking to another one.
It's
too,
all
so
Red Lobster is what it is.
It is.
But yeah, I think
That's
what
cool.
happened also was that at some point, I think one of our coworkers, which we cannot name, he told me about your ideas for like space and stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Because I want to do, my ultimate goal was just space stations just and
Yeah,
asteroid
yeah.
mining. So.
Dude, the second I heard that, I was like, your brain is so further past mine. I'm like, I want to make cool car parts. Or, I'm gonna do stuff in space. Like,
Yeah.
I want to make
manufacture
cool
and-
asteroid stuff.
yeah, it's like, oh my god.
Yeah,
and
and
the
then-
fact that it planned out too.
Yeah.
So far, it seems like far, but
Yeah. Another gas booster somewhere.
Yeah, and eventually it just got to the point where it was like, I remember one morning I was talking to you and I was like, should we tell like Fazal and Isaiah,
should we
like,
tell other people?
should we just like, let's see if they want to like get a place together or something. Maybe we could like all
That was-
split a
yeah.
workshop.
That was
Yeah.
actually I feel
Because
like
that's
the big
even
thing
like
that brought
cheaper on all
everybody
of
in.
us too. If we-
Yeah. So that was like the initial thing, and then we had a meeting, and then we're like, which was what I thought was really funny is that I thought you two guys had known each other already because
Well,
you guys have been
briefly-
working there longer than us two.
Yeah. Briefly talk because
he was like a month longer than you.
Well,
True.
No way.
True.
Really? I
He was
thought
in
you
January.
came after.
I was in the beginning
Nah.
of January.
I came in
I
February.
was supposed to start like at the very beginning, but was
Yeah.
on vacation, so
Yeah.
I had to wait on him to come back.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone's on vacation with training. I had
Yeah.
to wait another week because decided to go on vacation.
Yeah, and then
Sorry, I name dropped that. You can bleep that if you want to, but I didn't give a last name, so we haven't said a company and we haven't said what we did. So
yes. I
That's a
think
very
first names is
specific
fine.
name.
stop it.
but yeah, so the only few times that I've interacted with Fazal
He
was
said
that doesn't work there anymore.
that's
It's
true.
a very
Yeah.
specific name as well.
Yeah, he doesn't work there anymore.
That's a
And plus, he's
pretty dry name.
Yeah.
yeah, that is true. There's hundred. You could be a too if someone
I
looked at
You could be. You look like a.
Let's keep it adult.
Yeah. Anyways, back to what I was saying.
Yeah.
Was with Fazal was I was giving him few electrical advice on some stuff, and that was about it. The most
okay.
interaction.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
It was work
Yeah,
stuff.
we didn't really.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but we didn't really talk about like our interests outside of work.
Well, I mean, it also
was
doesn't
just
help
like-
that we're like
I
across
feel
the
like,
room.
I feel like
Literally.
people
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
shield that too from like their work environment. They're not necessarily always super open about, especially if it's like
Yeah.
I want to do my own thing.
Yeah.
That's not usually
Yeah.
a thing you bring up to other coworkers. Like,
Yeah.
don't tell anybody.
You
I
also
think-
got weird
yeah.
people that doesn't express themselves entirely, like the homeboy behind you diagonally.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I mean,
That homeboy.
Yeah, you were gonna say
Homeboy.
properly. Good thing you added properly because he expresses himself, but just not properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just too much expression, actually.
Yeah.
Some might say.
Some might say you got to crank that back.
Yeah.
Awkwardness too, because they'll come into conversations that like
Oh yeah.
we didn't even invite him into, which
True.
you know I don't mind. It's just that he made it extremely awkward at that point.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
cool, dude.
All right, I'm
but,
gonna wrap this up and get back to what I'm doing.
Yeah, so
man,
when I got
it happens.
hired, there were a lot of like engineers there already, but they were pretty closed off too. Like the like Mo, he left like I want to say 6 months after you got hired or something. He was like the only engineer that I could kind of talk to, and who would be like, I think we talked about this. What they were an undergraduate engineer, so they understood like engineering terms and standards and stuff.
I
was
just
like, who the fuck are you talking about?
it.
Yeah.
Same time. Once you said undergraduate, and then I was like, I know.
but everyone else there
And
wants to do.
He came over and sat by you for a bit.
He works for Jacobs now.
Oh, okay,
All right,
yeah.
yeah,
That's
we're
the
good.
shit, you know,
Yeah.
kind of
For Jacobs now.
Yes.
Or Jacobs,
Yeah.
that guy.
Get a little closer to them.
Yeah.
Talking to you, man.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm like
so
making out with my mic. I don't know about you.
it's all on camera.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
Yeah. So, but then he left, and then it was like he didn't really share the same interests. Although he was a mechanical engineer, but he didn't share the same interests. So I just felt like, and you were again, like Arnaldo said, you're like on the other side of the engineering department, so it's hard to connect. But Arnaldo, I just eavesdrop him, like talking to Dalton. He's like, "Hey, by the way, I 3D printed this."
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
I see his like 3D printed stuff on top of
And
his,
his machining
computer
stuff, too.
case. And then whenever I stand up from my standing desk, I see like sick ass looking
billet parts.
aluminum parts, and I'm
What are
like,
those?
"What the
Damn, who are these guys?
Why are they working here?
friends?"
Okay, I have a question. Okay,
Yeah.
so your experience, because you've been here, you were at the company longer than everybody.
Yeah.
Was there like a shift at a certain point in terms of like office mood around the time when between like February to April, like when the four of us showed up?
Yeah.
Okay.
There was a big
'Cause
change.
when we got moved over and graduated team lead, it was like the director.
Yeah.
Caught myself. Director and the other team lead were talking about how like there was a
Navas.
different sense of like the four of us in our cubicle when we were by our old team lead were able to have a different like atmosphere, and that's
Yeah.
why we also got put back together.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was curious about that because I only picture work like that now.
Yeah.
I can't imagine
Yeah.
just being like everyone quiet.
Man,
nobody's
when-
talking to anybody. I was like
Just
ugh.
dry.
Yeah.
When I was there, it was super dry. When I first got hired, it was just a bunch of
Old dudes.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
because
was
you have
gonna say
as well.
Name drop. Damn.
First and last name.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But he,
yeah.
well,
I
It
mean,
doesn't
I
even
don't know.
matter.
but-
We don't
No,
even
it
know who
doesn't
that
really
is.
matter.
To be
actually, I
honest.
never met that person, so
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I think when I got
It's all good.
hired, it was like 2 weeks, and then he
Yeah.
retired. It was like something like that.
For me, it was 3 weeks, and then
But those are
was gone.
those are all old people in old generations. So
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
like at that work ethic.
No one's
so
gonna
quiet,
Google them anyways.
Do
No.
do what they need to do. And
Yeah.
that's it.
I would.
It looks like they didn't enjoy life after
I
that.
paused there for a bit because I wanted to put it in a nice way, but you guys said it. There were a bunch of oldies.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
like I couldn't connect to any of them, and they're like,
Canadian being polite.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
so kind of you.
Oldies.
it's like, yeah, just boomers, you know, like
Experienced engineers.
Yeah.
Bunch of boomers.
Yeah, a bunch of boomers. Yes, and then when they started hiring younger people, like they hired T, they hired
Yep.
A, they hired F, but I didn't like that part. It was a little weird. But then they hired you guys, and then after you guys, they started hiring everyone that was around the same age, which is I was like,
Yeah.
this is perfect. This is
Yeah.
amazing. Because I was talking to, and I was like, it would be kind of cool if we hire like young people who are just out of undergraduate degrees.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it seemed like, and then
Bunch of
and
freshies.
then he was like, okay.
maybe that'd be
But
cool.
he doesn't have an undergraduate degree, so I didn't know if he took slight to that.
Right.
So I was like,
He's like,
this guy's fucking entitled.
Yeah.
Like,
Canadians
with
are
his
so nice.
undergraduate degree. Like, what the?
You think you gotta be a professional to work
Yeah,
here?
exactly. And then I just see like 6 different like undergraduates in mechanical engineering get hired, and I'm like, and then. One guy who doesn't know which engineering he wants to do, he just wants to
Yeah.
do all of them.
I decided
the
to join.
youngest,
It's just like,
the
yeah.
youngest with the
Yeah.
most school experience at this point. It's like,
Yeah.
bring him in here too.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe
Yeah,
they
'cause
followed that.
you have
Maybe
good
they're
work
like, yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
we
'cause,
want someone who wants to be an engineer in the future, because half
Yeah.
of the people there, they're just
And-
there because they know sheet metal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, and granted, like to give you kudos, like all of us have a piece of paper that validates our skills, but truthfully, most of the graduates there have no skills.
Yeah, that's
like
why
we
a lot
acquire
of,
them through our work. But you came in the opposite. You had
Yeah.
all these skills and all this experience, but you didn't have the piece of paper.
yeah, because that's what Top Dog said too. Like, oh, this is a perfect candidate.
Yeah.
Let's hire him. And he didn't
Yeah.
care that I didn't have a degree. He was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh, look at this shit. I was like, it's perfect. Because even with the UL stuff too, it's like that's why they were having me handle
Yeah.
it too, is because I had experience dealing with it. And
Yeah.
most fresh graduates aren't going to have experience with dealing
No.
with
No.
government agencies
No.
or
We know
people that
about
have
differential
authority.
equations.
Yeah, different
which
equations.
I've
Are you
not
a
used
diff-
since I took that class. So it's been pretty
Yeah.
key.
It's like you see these sheet metal, use differential equations.
You know what a
I
Poisson
use-
ratio is? Yes, I know what that
I
is.
use differential equations to calculate my tip.
Yeah.
Did you say tip?
Yeah,
Oh.
like the 20%
I heard tit. I was like, what?
tip, TIP.
Yeah.
Got it.
So, did Top Dog start
Yeah.
using the agency to hire, I guess, all the undergraduates
So
around that year? Like
it's
at the
very
beginning?
weird, but I think they might have told the agency to filter by undergraduates,
Uh-huh.
because for some reason, I'm the only non-agency employee there.
Yeah.
I didn't start with an agency, but everyone else was.
Are we talking
The
about
agency.
your previous job and our
Yeah.
current job? So,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Everyone's through agency. You guys were
Yeah.
through agency, right?
Yeah.
I
he was
did
not.
not actually.
Oh, you did not?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
which was
Yeah.
really random because
And then the guy who started with me was also not. He was going to go through
Yeah.
agency, but then
Oh, really?
they
Oh.
weren't communicating with him. So then
Yep.
he just
So
showed up
he
to the
just
front
showed
office
up
and was like,
and-
"I sent an email and I haven't
Which
heard
is
blah, blah, blah,
bold.
blah."
That's sick.
Yeah,
That's
he just
amazing.
very
Wow.
bold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, yeah, he has some challenges now.
Oh, really?
It was very
Oh,
ballsy of him
what
to
do you
do that,
mean?
but now
Tell
he
me
has some
more.
challenges.
Yeah.
The guy that started with you.
Yeah. So the one
With
right
me?
behind Dalton.
Oh.
I think he used to say where F's used.
didn't
Yeah,
know-
you
I
guys
didn't know
share a
he
lot
used-
of things in common.
I didn't know he started with you.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Now I'm trying to remember too because
going for it.
Are you calling out my designs?
I can't say
Yes.
stuff like that. He and I started at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought there was another guy who used to smoke, and you would just walk out in the shop randomly just to smoke tobacco, probably, I'm assuming.
Huh.
And then he had a big beard, but
Oh.
no hair on top. Ginger guy.
Um,
He just showed up,
Yeah.
and then he got hired, and then he dipped.
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
2
yeah,
weeks
yeah,
in,
yeah, yeah,
he
yeah.
then he got
dip,
rehired.
He just didn't show up.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
and he left
That was
his
the most
headphones
recent
there.
one.
Yeah.
What was his name?
I don't remember his name.
Yeah.
Truthfully, I don't remember his name.
He
But
was,
he wore
he was
he
an
wore the
interesting
black
character.
bands.
Yeah.
And he had been an employee before, and he had
Yeah.
some issues,
Wasn't
and
he
they
old?
rehired him.
No,
He
no,
looked-
no.
no.
He was
He
like
looked
late
kinda young,
20s,
yeah.
early 30s, probably.
He looked
maybe.
like our age,
Yeah,
Yeah.
or a couple years older.
I would say.
Yeah. He looked.
Oh,
like
okay. Now I remember who
Yeah,
it is.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
basically, he
The one.
he looked like a Game of Thrones character.
yes.
Yeah.
Basically,
So where
wild
y'all were
White
training
Walker.
at,
Yeah, he's definitely a wildling.
left
up against the wall.
Corner. Yep,
Up
on the
against
left,
the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he went to the shop.
No,
No.
he was here, and then he had not returned for a certain reason, and they gave him a second chance. And then the most recent time why he did not actually come back was because the same thing probably happened, and he didn't communicate with work, and they couldn't find him. So they were just like, "All right, like that's it, you're done."
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a no-show for a week. Then
Yeah.
week 2, Chris emailed, and then by the end of week 2, it was just
was like,
no
no,
correspondence. So it
nothing.
was just like, all right,
So that was
you're
it.
out.
That was an interesting.
Yeah,
Chain of
he was there
events.
quick
Yeah.
too. It was actually weird because the like couple months of like the mid 6 months, like first 6 months, there was like heavy turnover within our cubicle area.
Yeah.
Of like a lot of guys. It was just like in and out,
Yeah.
or like.
Truthfully,
I forget about
I
forgot.
think it was one of those things where that guy was like, I need a job. It's like, well, I kind of didn't like that place, but, I know they'll take me back. It just sits there
Yeah.
for like
Yeah.
a month, and it's like, fuck this place.
Yeah. Well, because I noticed that too. I was
Never
like,
mind.
this dude looks like he's not enjoying what he's doing because like
Yeah.
he has his head down, messing
Yeah.
with his head like if he has a headache. I'm like, this dude must not enjoy what he's doing here.
Yeah.
Mentally
Yeah.
was not
Yeah.
Yeah.
cool with it.
I think that place, that environment is good. It's a great place to get started.
Yeah, it
as
is.
an engineer,
Yeah.
because you don't get like kind of put into the hardcore mechanical engineering
Yeah.
field where it's like you have to create fat packs, and if you mess up,
Yeah,
there's
you've
like
messed up a whole
50
product.
different items or different parts that are being made for the same design, and that design's messed up, and you got to trash all of that.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
I tried to explain.
So
One of the
it's-
most recent hires that I tried to help get hired on is that he was trying
Yeah.
to look for aerospace. He's an aerospace mechie double major, and he was.
Oh yeah, you mentioned him.
Yeah,
before,
yeah, exactly. And so he spent time
Mhm.
not in an engineering.
Yeah.
He's
After I left.
No, he sits right across from him.
When did?
Oh,
When did
okay,
you leave?
okay, okay.
No, he was. You were
Was he-
there.
He,
while
he was there because he would still walk out with us.
Yeah.
Your friend, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's double major,
Yeah.
and so he was
Oh,
doing
he
like retail
is?
stuff because he couldn't
Damn,
find an
okay.
aerospace job immediately. And I was
Yeah,
like,
no.
I was like, good luck. I was like, that's hard. I was like, you need some sort of experience to show something.
Yes.
Like, it's
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and I explained to him, if anything, this is a perfect place just to start to understand manufacturing in general. Nobody's going to expect you to go do sheet metal for the rest of your life. It's
No.
fine.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
As long
Yeah.
as you
I
understand
didn't
the
do any.
environment.
I didn't do.
Yeah.
I basically did 5% of my design stuff before was sheet
Yeah.
metal before coming here.
Yeah.
Now it's
Yeah.
100% sheet metal. It's okay. Like you're gonna go. You need to go try other stuff.
Yeah. You know, when you graduate, you're in that mentality like, oh, I want to get something that interests me and stuff like that. But if you haven't done co-op or some sort of internship while
Before?
you're studying,
Yeah. Screwed.
you're not going to get where you want to
Yeah, it's funny because I was
Yeah.
looking
You have
at
to get a
the.
ra-
I was looking to
random-ass
see that I
engineering
have
job
to
first.
do co-op, and I was like, I don't need to do co-op. I already have the experience.
You got plenty of
I was like, I'm not gonna
Talk
fucking
to
do
you.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
As long as
so-
you have experience, you're Gucci.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now with all of our different experiences, White Lightning, what is it going to be? Like, what is? I guess we all have our own different projects that we want to work on, but what is your vision for White Lightning? Let's go. Let's start with that.
My vision to start with was custom automotive motorsports stuff. That's what I want to do. That's what I love. That's my degree is automotive automotive engineering.
Yeah.
Like that's
You
what
don't
I
even
want to
know
do.
what it is.
I'm committed to cars. So I'm good with that. That's all I like to do. That's
Just
all I
send
really
it.
want to do.
Send
Basically.
Yeah.
Except I don't drift or do any of that
Yeah,
crazy
I
hoonigan
know.
stuff. So, but that's what I wanted to
Unfortunate.
do. So my intention for White Lightning was to have automotive related products that were
Yeah.
designed and could be manufactured in house and sold. So I am also in the mindset of CNC billet, like bigger vertical machines and lathes and those types of equipment to make parts. That's what I like. So a vision of White Lightning is manufacturing, but maybe there's a subsection that is automotive related.
Yeah.
So that was my big thing, and I wasn't super into additive. We had a Ultimaker 3S or something at my last job, which was good.
S3.
S3. I don't remember what
How
the
dare you.
nomenclature was. I have an Ender, and it's better than both yours because it works.
Hey,
It works.
You got the
Mine
lucky.
works.
You got the lucky lotto because I ended up upgrading mine way past the entry level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
within and we told you would do
Invested
that.
like
Yeah.
$500.
How-
Like you're gonna be able to touch, and do this. I haven't done any of it, but you can do that. And then lo and behold,
Well,
you bought
and
how
lo
many
and
sets
behold,
of
it was
linear
just my
rails?
bed that was crooked. Oh, it's like,
Dang
oh,
it.
I totally need to be
Jeez.
able to touch for the mesh map because it can account for all the warping in the bed. And
It doesn't even do that.
it doesn't even do that. Yeah.
That's not even the point.
And then I upgraded the board from 4.2.2
Oh, no.
to 4.2.7.
It stopped
no.
the recording.
Oh, what happened?
That's
oh,
okay.
Oh well, yeah.
Here's the thing: like I didn't know how much that was going to be able to do.
Yeah, we
anyways.
don't have the casting
My
couch
my
either, so-
DSLR literally does 20 minutes. It stops.
Yeah.
That might be what yours does too.
Did it?
Did you
did it do-
record anything?
Oh my goodness.
No, I did. I'm just trying to see if.
Is it like your auto timer?
No, yeah, it has like a timer on it, so
Oh.
I'll just hit record again.
You start.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Anyways, so what you're saying for what we're expecting the White Lightning?
Yeah. So I've just like I subtractive manufacturing is what I'm really into.
Yeah.
And like so I know that's still a big deal in manufacturing, and I keep seeing more and more of like let's bring manufacturing in house in the states and like local and do that.
Yep.
So I want to
American
be a part of
made.
that.
Yeah, American made.
Basically, I want
And
to be
also-
a part of that.
Yeah, and then also, well, I'm gonna go next. So, but basically,
Oh yeah, Isaiah, what do you want to do?
Yeah, is that what do you want?
I am done. Go
So,
ahead.
so what I was gonna do was I was gonna leech off of y'all and basically use all his machining
Yeah,
stuff.
there
No,
you
I'm
go.
just kidding. Well, because I still enjoyed what I did at my previous job because it was a new industry when medical marijuana was starting to become legalized, and then including recreational use. So all of our stuff was targeted towards the big corporations that are just gonna bang them out, like True Leave and all them other companies. So I was like, okay, well, let me try to do this downscaled. I was like, but I need some place to do all this stuff because I already know how to do everything. But when it came to custom making the vessels and all that stuff, that would have to be obviously made by me. I can't just buy them off the shelf and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Custom
and,
stuff.
and like with your experience with billet aluminum and all that stuff, that's like, oh, like perfect. You know, the machining and all that aspect. I was like, if I can, use your knowledge
Work
and you use
together,
my
yeah.
knowledge and stuff like that,
Mhm.
because ours would directly correlate because it's machining stuff. I didn't need to do any of the additive manufacturing. It was just more of a hobby thing, and the carbon fiber parts was for cars, because we would talk about cars all the time too.
Yep.
So it just happened to align in our interests together. So
Yeah.
we're just like, oh yeah, we can make use of it. So now that's why I needed, at least some type of motivation too, because that's what always comes to, because I'm not going to do it at my house by myself with no room.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
We also needed space.
Yeah,
That was
we
the
also
other
needed
big
space too, yeah.
Conjoining factor of White Light. Like, I can't do
Yeah.
it out of an apartment garage. It's just not gonna happen.
yeah, and I can't do 5,000, 4,000 psi in my house.
No.
Yeah.
it sounds
and,
kinda
and then
dangerous.
die
Probably
of
not.
oxygen displacement from all the CO2. So I was
Yeah.
just like, I was like, oh, perfect. If,
Shared workspace sounds good.
Yeah. So, but and what I'm seeing too of White Lightning is just being a multi manufacturing methodology. So like okay, CNC, additive, all these other stuff. So I was like, it just happens. It just happened to grow
Forming
into,
sheet
so,
metal
yeah,
stuff.
happened to
All
grow
that.
into
Hell
something
yeah.
even bigger. To hopefully to what I'm trying to aim for towards my end of my life, hopefully with the asteroid and space stations.
Oh, yeah.
That's
yeah.
really cool. So for me, White Lightning, I just see it as a bunch of cool engineers making cool engineering products, and that's been my passion since since I can remember. I've always wanted to make stuff. It doesn't matter what it is. It's car related, carbon fiber, aerospace, any carbon 3D printed,
Carbon fiber.
additive manufacturing,
Carbon
subtractive
fiber?
manufacturing, all of the above. So that's in college. I had a group of buddies that wanted to kind of do something like this.
Yeah.
So, but then I moved here and they
Left them
got
back
into the
across the border.
careers.
I
Yeah,
understand.
they got into their careers and stuff like that, and they're not doing this anymore. This was what they wanted to do when they were in college. They thought it was a good idea.
So you're trying to make him jealous.
Yeah, exactly.
Look what we could
These
have
are
been,
my new
guys.
friends.
Look what we could have been.
If you
But
move
you wanted
with
to do a
me-
regular job.
Yeah.
Loser.
What do you want to do in the snow, man? Like, just come
Yeah.
move down here.
all the salt
Yeah.
on your
All the
vehicle
salt,
and
Literally
Yeah.
destroying cars.
Yeah.
No, but I was really happy that I found a group that has a similar interest, because that's what I was going to do. Like I said before, when we got into the deep, dark topic about what could go wrong with White Lightning, for me, it doesn't matter what could go wrong, because I'm going to be doing this anyways.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
That's a
as
good
long
point.
as I'm doing this, you guys are welcome to
Yeah, I've
also
been-
work with
Exactly.
and do this. And
We're gonna
so
leech
it's, like,
off of each
perfect.
other,
Yeah,
like I said.
exactly.
as much
Yeah.
as bad as it sounds like, we're leeching. We're leeching.
That's the crude way of putting
Yeah,
it.
that is very
Yeah.
cool.
It's like, you understand additive. Like, I understand
Yeah.
subtractive. You understand electrical stuff.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
you've
You
got
need it all.
automation
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
Perfect.
You need it all.
Let's take over the world.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, hopefully, White Lightning Manufacturing is going to be a big player in the manufacturing or product design industry
I'm all for it.
in Florida, man.
Yeah, totally.
Let's
my
do
light
it.
going off.
I got hit by that flash. Yeah.
Did-
I was like, oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Imagine me at work like, all day.
Yeah, I think for me, like I said previously, I and I share with you where I don't really care too much what we end up doing. I kind of want to be maybe a subject matter expert in just like the additive stuff, because that's what's most interesting to me, and being able to help everyone else kind of do their own thing. Like I mentioned before, like my thing has been like musical instruments and that kind of stuff. So it doesn't really fit into anything that is actually more. I don't know what the best way to put it, but it's kind of different from automotive or like.
What, like,
Yeah.
you're talking
Like-
about like instrument
Well,
manufacturing?
Yeah.
Well, I think the end product is different, but the engineering part is still the same. You
Yeah,
still
yeah,
need to
yeah.
Right.
It's
manufacture your
manufacturing, yeah.
instrument.
Still manufacturing
Right.
stuff.
So
Yeah. So
so the interest is there, and
Yeah.
it aligns. Yeah.
and then similarly, like it's just being with a like-minded group of people, being able to just do whatever you want when you want, and just following your passion. Like that's what's most interesting to me. Yeah, because like that bass guitar there, which I'll pull it down for the fans. Oh. I got this
watch
bass
that.
guitar for $50.
Well,
Oh wow.
And there was like a local Luther that put it together. And
Oh, you told me about this guy.
yeah, and he passed away, and that amp is like his amp as well.
No
but
way.
That's pretty
basically, to say that it's kind of cool that stuff like that lives on, and I see that, and I'm like, I could fucking do that. That's not that hard. Like I've messed with the electronics before.
Yeah, break it down. It's got a body, it's got a neck, it's got strings, it's got
Yeah.
a little bit of electronics in
And
it.
half the time, the people, what they do is like with this one, that's a bolt-on neck. So they just buy the neck, buy the body, buy electronics, buy the strings, put it together.
Modular
Yeah.
guitar.
The bridge is more expensive than tire bass. Like that's like a $200 bridge
Damn.
on a cheapo bass. So it's just
Whatever.
like
It
stuff
works.
like that is like inspiring, I guess.
Yeah.
And the reason why we're doing a podcast and trying to put it on YouTube and all that stuff is, why not?
Yeah.
It's half the time that's what people are doing nowadays, and I don't think people get to listen to engineers speak candidly about what they like to do, what their interests are, and that kind of stuff. And
Because most of them are antisocial.
yeah, exactly. Most of them are just introverted fucking dweebs.
Yeah.
Just book nerds. But truth is just, we're just trying to do the damn thing.
Yeah. Trying to get things happening.
Yeah.
And I think the other cool part is that it's like we can also use this to talk about all the other types of engineering things that we have seen and experienced. So like the hope is they'll have other things that we've seen and like we can meet up at some point, and like however often this happens is that we talk about the different types of engineering or things that we saw and can just try to understand what's going on. So that's another thing, instead of, because I hate texting. I hate it.
No.
And it's like I can't explain everything in a
That's why I never text
emotional
y'all
sense.
too, because I don't.
Dude,
I suck at
hate
texting.
It
I
sucks.
don't
It's
like
the
texting.
worst.
Yeah, I like
I-
doing face to face.
Dude, I looked this morning and it's the weekend now. It's like I have texted 3 people in my messages since last weekend. I don't
Oh,
talk
wow.
to anybody. Like I just
Nice.
don't. I'm either talking at work or I come home.
Yeah.
I do my own thing. That's it.
Yeah.
So I'd much rather do this where I can have a real conversation.
Yeah, definitely.
For me, what I see this as, the podcast as, is in engineering school, you say that engineering is, or you hear everywhere that engineering is you never stop learning.
Yeah.
You always need to learn different manufacturing methods, new technology to improve your overhead, so you pay less for manufacturing parts and stuff like that. And
That's why when
we
do
always
lasers.
share different manufacturing methods, where it's like laser engraving or cutting or plasma cutter or CNC, 3D printing, additive, subtractive, blah,
What's
blah,
that
blah.
wire?
Compressed carbon
What's that
fiber,
wire cutting?
EDM wire,
EDM
wire,
yeah.
yeah.
electro
Exactly.
discharge
So
manufacturing.
this is just
Yeah.
like a area where we get together and
combine all
engineers,
the manufacturing.
We combine.
Yeah.
We talk about the pros and cons of different manufacturing methods. Kind of just spitballing. Engineering stuff, and something may come up.
Because
out
there's
of
plenty
this.
of times
You
where
never know.
you're talking to people that are creative and you have a problem of you can't figure out how to do the hooks on your drums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, well, you could try and like do a ghetto home forged aluminum like clamp, and you
Yeah.
could kind of clean it up and make a mold out of it and do a sand casting or something.
Yeah.
Or you could 3D print it, do a mold, compress carbon fiber, and do it that way. And it's like that. There's so many different ways to think about it, but if you're not in that mindset, I hadn't seen stuff like that before, but I've seen people at home do like home sand castings of like molted aluminum,
Yeah.
like in your backyard.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like there's stuff like that you just keep rattling off different things. So
Yeah.
And to add to that, it's also a thing of I might see a bunch of really cool shit on Instagram that other engineers have done, but it's not like I can talk to my fiance about it. She's
my
gonna be
wife-
like,
my wife-
"Yeah, cool."
she's not picked up on it.
Yeah. So it is a thing of like it's hard to communicate with others because maybe the interest isn't there, the knowledge base isn't there, and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
this is the engineer support group, White Lightning.
Yeah.
Follow
Yes,
us.
sir.
Feel free to reach out. We're here to take your questions.
Yeah.
And also, another thing to add as well, on top of what you just said, was because I'm very much interested in expanding all of our knowledge to other people, because I want to try to make the education
Yeah.
it's more accessible,
Yeah.
because
Education's huge.
how we discuss this stuff too is like no one's gonna know immediately what specific fields or specifications that they're gonna need to know in that particular manufacturing process or the scope of the engineering work. So like, okay, I was like, yeah, sure, I think it's cool. I want to try to make my own part. Okay, so how do I do that now?
Yeah.
I was like, and if we can provide at least some type of scope for them to start engaging into it, I was like, oh, it's perfect. Because, and plus, maybe people will more be interested in reaching out to us as well and offer us advice too that we don't know as well. Maybe
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
Please
definitely-
do.
just keep
Yeah.
us interested too in more stuff.
Yeah. Follow us at White Lightning Manufacturing on all
Yeah.
platforms.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's on all platforms.
All
Yeah.
platforms.
Yeah.
Most of them.
Most of them.
What website coming soon?
Yeah,
Website
website
coming
coming soon.
where I'm gonna add all the.
Yeah. So what do we have coming up?
We got YouTube coming soon, podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and everywhere else you can get podcasts coming soon. We got
The website.
White Lightning Manufacturing website coming soon.
We've got the Instagram
Yeah.
page. We've got social
Yeah,
medias.
that's
got
all right.
social
That's
media.
not coming soon, baby. That is there.
We
That
got
is
that. Sorry.
Maybe you got a TikTok.
Could do that.
TikTok,
If it's
TikTok will be
not
behind the
that is
scenes.
true.
BTS stuff. Yeah.
Did I make one already?
I don't know. You tell me.
I can't remember.
Or maybe
I'm
we'll
never
just
on
do
that
YouTube
app, so-
Reels.
Yeah.
Maybe
Maybe
just
that
YouTube Reels.
So majority of those are already there. The next
Hell yeah.
big thing is place.
Yeah.
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 Gotta
Yeah.
get a place is like the big step.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the pseudo studio is not is a little cramped right now.
Yeah, and I didn't win my house auction, so
Yeah.
You didn't get a house.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Yeah.
I didn't get a house. Way to go.
Way to go.
You're not getting a house.
I'm not
yet.
even thinking about
Way
a
to
house
go.
right now.
Not
Yeah.
enough space in my condo.
Damn it.
Way to go.
it's a
There you
condo.
go. Yeah,
As
it's
soon as
a
we
condo.
turn something on, you can feel it to the next floor. Like, what the fuck are they turning on? A giant ass vibrator?
Wow.
Yeah.
Really doing some experimental stuff. There.
Yeah.
All right. Well, cool. I
Yeah.
think that was a great way to kind of get this going. We didn't even really know what we'd talk about or how long it would take, but this is kind of like the format of things that we want to have happen, where it's just sit down and we can go through things and express what's happening and the things that we've got going on. And you guys on camera can't see it, but we've got live stream of the of Arnaldo's bamboo printer printing
yeah.
one of our products, so we can get ready for product photos that I can take to get on the website.
Just
So here's a BTS of the.
BTS of the BTS.
Well, every time you say BTS, I think of the K-pop group.
Same.
At first,
Yeah.
that's what I thought of, and
I
then I
was
started
like,
seeing
what
it
the
on
fuck
like
are you talking
actual videos, and it was just like people fucking around. I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like K-pop, so yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, which song are you listening to?
BTS. Just every BTS reels just has BTS playing in the background.
That'd be
BTSception,
Subtle.
baby.
Yeah.
You have the opacity of a BTS video in the background of something we're doing.
Yeah.
It's
I was
like
what the fuck is
5%.
that?
You're like seeing things like, what's going on?
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
It would attract a lot of women though, because there are plenty of women engineers.
There are. That's a.
Mech. I don't
Nobody
know
take
about
our
Mech-E.
idea.
Yeah,
I don't know about Mech-E's.
that's true too.
Yeah.
All right.
I know
cool.
a few EEs that
All about that.
electrical engineers at
okay.
UCF that are female.
EEs, IEs, MECs.
Yep.
There's a bunch of E's.
Yeah, it's
All
funny because I didn't know
Yeah.
what the
Bunch of
acronym do for
E-girls.
electrical
Yeah.
engineers, and it didn't click in my head up the first time. And
E.
professor kept saying E. I'm like, what the fuck is an E?
I only figured that out because at ASU they had like they broke down the classes like that. So like if I was gonna take a class that was somewhat electrical related,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
there's EE 102 or something.
Yeah,
I was like,
and it
what the
never
fuck? And it was
clicked in
like
my
my
head,
circuits
too.
one class. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
makes sense.
UCF catalog is like that too, and it never clicked in my head either. I'm like, I had no clue what the fuck I was smoking at the time because it just I was like, I didn't know what they meant.
In case you guys didn't know, it's fucking porn outside
Yeah.
right now.
Is it?
That's
Yeah.
why I just-
Oh shit.
I kept hearing like rocks at the window.
I
I'm
felt
like,
an
oh.
oncoming depression.
Well, let's not get you too depressed.
Okay, yeah.
We'll end it here. This was good.
Yeah.
I don't know how often we'll do these, but we're gonna try and keep them going. So,
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
very cool.
Yeah.
Until
Yeah.
next time.
Until
White
next
Lightning-
time.
White Lightning Podcast.
Signing out.
Bye.
Signing out.
See you later,
Bye.
guys.